The phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, its screen glowing like a beacon in the dim light of our apartment. I froze mid-sip, the bitter coffee scalding my tongue as I read the text. At my ex's house. His dad passed. Don't be jealous. My heart lurched, a sickening jolt that sent the mug crashing to the floor. Shards of ceramic skittered across the tiles, but I barely noticed. The words burned into my retinas, each one a needle pricking at the fragile trust I'd stitched together over years with Lila. Don't be jealous? The phrase felt like a dare, a taunt, as if she knew it would unravel me. I stood there, staring at the phone, the air thick with the scent of spilled coffee and my own rising panic. Lila had been distant for weeks, small things at first. A missed call here, a vague excuse there. Her perfume lingering on a scarf I didn't recognize. I'd brushed it off, told myself it was nothing. Work stress, I reasoned. Or maybe her grief over her mom's illness was pulling her inward. But this text, so casual, so brazen, sliced through my rationalizations like a knife through silk. Why was she there? Why now? And why the hell would she think I'd be jealous unless there was something to hide? The apartment was suffocatingly quiet, the hum of the fridge amplifying the chaos in my head. I paced, my socks catching on the rough edges of the hardwood floor, my mind replaying every moment of the past month. The late-night errands. Her phone, always face down. The way her laugh had started to sound forced, like she was performing for me. I wanted to call her, to demand answers, but my fingers hovered over the screen, trembling. What if she lied? What if she didn't? I wasn't sure which scared me more. Instead, I grabbed my keys and jacket, the leather creaking as I shrugged it on. The drive to her ex's house was a blur of red lights and half-formed thoughts. The city streaked by, neon signs bleeding into the rain-slicked streets, the wipers screeching against the windshield. My pulse thumped in my ears, a relentless drumbeat. I didn't know what I'd do when I got there, but I couldn't stay in that apartment, drowning in questions. Her ex, Marcus, lived in a rundown duplex on the edge of town, the kind of place where the porch sagged and the windows were always smudged. I'd been there once, years ago, when Lila needed to pick up some old books she'd left behind. Marcus had been civil but cold, his eyes lingering on her a beat too long. I'd hated him then, not because of anything he said but because of the history they shared, a history I could never touch. Now, as I pulled up across the street, the house looked darker than I remembered, the front door cracked open like an invitation to ruin. I sat in the car, gripping the steering wheel, my knuckles white. The rain tapped a staccato rhythm on the roof, and I tried to piece together what I knew. Marcus's dad had died. Lila had mentioned it in passing last week, her voice flat, like she was reciting a fact from a textbook. But why go to him now? Why alone? My mind churned with images I didn't want to see. Her hand on his arm, their heads bent close, the kind of intimacy that lingers like a ghost between exes. I shook my head, trying to dislodge the thoughts, but they clung like damp leaves. I texted her, "You okay? Need me to come get you?" My thumb hesitated before hitting send, as if the message might detonate everything. No response. The silence was worse than a lie. I stepped out into the rain, the cold biting through my jacket, and crossed the street. The porch creaked under my weight, and I peered through the gap in the door. The living room was dimly lit, cluttered with empty beer cans and a sagging couch. No sign of Lila. No sign of Marcus. Just the faint hum of a TV left on somewhere deeper in the house. Lila. My voice was a croak, barely audible over the rain. No answer. I pushed the door open, the hinges groaning, and stepped inside. The air smelled of stale smoke and something sweeter, like vanilla, her perfume. My stomach twisted. I moved through the living room, my shoes leaving wet prints on the carpet, and followed the sound of voices down a narrow hallway. They were in the kitchen, their silhouettes flickering against the yellow glow of a single bulb. Lila sat at a small table, her hands wrapped around a mug, her shoulders hunched. Marcus leaned against the counter, his arms crossed, his face unreadable. They didn't notice me at first, and for a moment, I was an intruder in their world, watching a scene that didn't belong to me. "I didn't mean for it to happen," Lila was saying, her voice low, cracked with emotion. "I thought I could handle it, being here, but it's too much." Marcus shifted, his jaw tight. "You don't owe him an explanation, Lila. You don't owe him anything." My blood ran cold. I stepped forward, the floorboard creaking under my weight. Lila's head snapped up, her eyes wide, glistening with tears. "Jake," she gasped, her mug clattering against the table. "What are you doing here?" "What am I doing here?" My voice was sharper than I intended, raw with the anger I'd been swallowing for weeks. "You're the one at your ex's house in the middle of the night, telling me not to be jealous. What the hell is going on, Lila?" Her face crumpled, and she pressed a hand to her mouth, stifling a sob. Marcus straightened, his eyes narrowing. "This isn't what you think," he said, but his tone lacked conviction, like he was reciting a script he didn't believe. "Don't," I snapped, pointing at him. "Don't talk to me like I'm the idiot here." I turned to Lila, my chest tight. "Tell me the truth. Right now." She shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Jake, I wasn't," she faltered, her words dissolving into a choked sob. "I came to check on him, that's all. His dad died and I thought I could help." "Help?" I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "You think I'm buying that? You've been pulling away for weeks, Lila. The late nights, the secrets, the way you look at me like I'm a stranger. And now this." I gestured at the kitchen, at Marcus, at the whole damn scene. "What am I supposed to think?" She stood, her chair scraping against the linoleum. "I'm not cheating," she said, her voice trembling but firm. "I swear, Jake. I got caught up." Marcus was hurting, and I felt guilty. We talked, and it brought back memories, but I didn't. Memories. The word hit like a punch. "What kind of memories, Lila?" "The kind where you forget you're supposed to be with me." Her eyes darted to Marcus, then back to me, and in that fleeting glance I saw it. The truth she didn't want to admit. It wasn't just memories. It was something alive, something unresolved. My knees buckled, and I gripped the doorframe to steady myself. The room spun, the edges blurring like a bad dream. "Jake, please," she whispered, stepping toward me. "I love you. I messed up, okay? I shouldn't have come here. I should have told you. But I didn't do anything with him. I swear." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to. But the doubt was a poison, seeping into every crack of our life together. I looked at Marcus, his silence louder than any confession. And then I saw it. A necklace on the table, one I'd never seen her wear. A delicate silver chain with a small heart pendant. "Not mine. Not ours. You kept his necklace," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "After all this time." Lila's face went pale. "Jake, it's not." "Don't." I cut her off, my voice breaking. "Don't lie to me anymore." I turned and walked out, the rain swallowing me whole. Her sobs followed me, but I didn't look back. The truth was a blade, and it had already cut too deep.